So, this is the first one. Beavis and Butthead Do America. This is the page, okay? Like I was telling you, the plastic is over top of the sticky kind of backbone of the page. And yeah, let's get started. What I have in front of me here is my movie ticket collection. All the movie tickets I have ever kept. It does start in 1996. So, and it spans all the way to a few weeks ago with, it ended with The Invisible Man. We're going to go through all those years. I'm going to tell you stories. I'm going to tell you what it means to me. I'm going to just go nice and thick for you guys so we can spend time together and stay smiling. These are hard stories. Hard tickets and hard stories. So, Beavis and Butthead Do America. Guys, the next one's The Lost World. Absolutely wonderful film. Whoa. Hey, come back now. Oh, sorry guys. Studio's falling apart a little bit. Anyway, the ticket is Batman and Robin. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age! Amazing. And then I'm like, oh my god, my throat! I'm gonna cry! If you don't know what's happening, Titanic, guys. We're at Titanic. Hello guys, Alex from Couchhard Studios here, back with you again. We are in quarantine here, as with everybody, trying to take care of ourselves mentally, physically, spiritually, and we wanted to keep the content rolling out to you, so to keep you hopeful, keep you smiling. I've developed a couple of different things. I don't know what's going to happen, but that's part of the exciting part here. We can always do different things and come up with different things and do it in a nice hard way for you. So, what I have in front of me here is my movie ticket collection. Okay? Now, I don't even know if you guys know what this is. This is a binder with magnetic pages. So, I guess it's a bit retro as well, as everything is in the studio here. This is something that you used to put printed photos in, and I will get some shots of the inside pages, but there's basically a sticky page, and you have a clear piece of plastic that goes over, and the stickiness helps the photo or whatever you're putting here, whatever paper kind of thing you're putting in here, stay in place, and you can display it in a really cool way. So I've got a couple of binders here of all the movie tickets I have ever kept. Okay, now, not to mistake in this. This is not every movie I've ever seen at the theater. I will try and fill in some gaps here and there because I remember going to the theater and watching certain movies, but I am missing the tickets. So I didn't really fully make the decision to keep them all from the first ticket I have in here that we will be talking about. But I'll try to fill in the gaps here and there because a couple here and there got lost. But it does start in the end of 1996. So, and it spans all the way to a few weeks ago with, it ended with The Invisible Man was the last flick, or the last movie ticket that I have. So, we're going to go through all those years. I'm going to talk about just like each movie, maybe a couple of anecdotes, little stories, things that prompt my mind and come in and out of my mind. It's, again, these are hard stories, hard tickets and hard stories. I don't know what we're going to call this segment, but yeah, I'm thinking just like, it's a little more almost like a memoir. I don't know. So it's just personal thoughts on this collection of mine. I don't know anybody. I've never heard in all the years of my life of anybody who does this. I'm sure I've heard concert tickets. I've heard, there's a lot of people who keep things. So this is one of my little things that I've chosen to do. And I've displayed them like this. So, this is the first one. Beavis and Butthead Do America. This is the page, okay? Like I was telling you, the plastic is over top of the sticky kind of backbone of the page. And yeah, let's get started. Now, type away in the comments. Tell us what maybe I could add for you guys in these segments, other segments, questions that you might have about the movies or about the tickets themselves, even prices. You're going to see some really interesting things here. So, Beavis and Butthead Do America. The ticket is from December 29th, 1996. Okay? I remember we saw this at the Square One. They didn't have it was just Square One Cinemas. It was built right into the mall. And they didn't have the the Silver City that exists there now, where it's like this more the upscaled kind of theater experience with the arcades and with all that other stuff. This was literally a mall theater, and it was the best of the best at the time. I mean, we had kind of like Ontario Place and all that kind of stuff, but this is basically what I was used to, the in-mall theaters. And it was Famous Players at the time, the company that ran these things. Beavis and Butthead Do America. I think I actually became interested in them from the movie onward, which was towards the end of the show's duration, because I think the show ended in 97 with the Beavis and Butthead Are Dead episode. And this movie really, I saw the drawings, I saw the trailers, I saw, and I just became interested in him. My next door neighbor, Alex, his name is Alex, figure that. He was actually Alessandro, the Italian version of Alexander. Anyway, and we're both Italian. Anyway, he was really into these guys too, so we kind of shared that. It was with my father, actually. He came with us as well. It was adult accompanied was the rating, meaning it was PG-13 in the States, and this is another obsession of mine, rating systems, guys. Now, the tickets and movie posters, which you guys can see around here, I love movie posters. I'm obsessed with movie poster art, but the rating symbols and the way they came up with the ratings was very interesting to me. And this was part of my obsession. So it was on the movie posters I saw, restricted, PG-13, all of that. But then on here, I noticed that there was different ones. And then I started to understand that there were different ratings for Canada and the US, which was huge to me. I'm like, well, how does it differ? This and that. I mean, it was 96, guys. So I just turned 10. And this is what I was thinking about when I was 10 years old. Kind of special. I don't know if other 10-year-olds were thinking about stuff like this. But anyway, so the adult accompaniment thing, it was PG-13 in the States, adult accompaniment here. It's kind of like 14A is now. That's the current AA rating. 14A, which is current for Canada, and PG-13 in the States still exists, as you know. So, but Beavis and Butthead, I became interested in them. Like, it hit me like a ton of bricks after I saw the movie. I love the whole and the cool. Ryan, my buddy, can't stand them just for the laughing. They just can't stand them, right? But I love those guys. I love cartoons. I don't know if you guys know. I'm pretty sure I've said a couple of times, but I love cartoons. And they're funny looking guys who just love heavy metal. They're teenagers. They never score. They're not one with the ladies. it's just really funny guys. They do dumb shit, and it's great to watch, man. It's Mike Judge, great voice actor. He practically voices every character. Mike Judge also is responsible for King of the Hill, and he's done some movies and stuff like that. He's a great creative mind, one of my favorites. So my favorite work of his is Beavis and Butthead. So anyway, I think he was responsible for Office Space as well. A bunch of my friends love that movie. So and they've talked to me about it. I remember in high school people telling me to watch Office Space. Anyway, yeah, guys. Beavis and Butthead Do America. That's the first one that I kept. It is the oldest one, the oldest ticket I have in the collection. Now, again, bear in mind, I saw a couple of Disney features in the theater. I remember Aladdin. I didn't like them too much. I liked more like Looney Tunes, the Warner Brothers cartoons. A little more they felt a little more adult to me, and I just found it funnier. I found Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, all the greats. They were much funnier to me. And I like the music more. Disney always felt like musicals. And I never liked musicals in my entire life. I don't know, I wasn't, I don't know, that's how I've been. So, but yeah, again, there's more cartoons, right? But yeah, I remember going with my father in 1992 to see Batman Returns. That was a huge one for me. Although I didn't like it as much as the first one, but I was obsessed with the first one for many, many years, or which felt like many, many years to a kid, right? So I watched that movie. I still have the VHS tape. I watched that movie over and over and over again every day. I had a couple. I had when it was really early, more adult stuff. I had Gremlins. I had Batman, RoboCop 2, and later Terminator 2 was kind of coming in. And I watched Batman with Adam West every day on the television. Tiny Toons, which is an offshoot of Looney Tunes. It was made in the early 90s and whatnot. Anyway, so yeah, I remember Batman Returns. Fortunately, don't have the ticket, but movies have been with me since I was, since I can remember, almost like 2.5 onward. I don't remember obviously too much, because you can't remember too much apparently, but those movies, when I think about the movies, I remember my life. And I think that's what the key is with movies for me. I mean, the movie allows me to do memory work, and that's why this is another name for this. It's hard memory work. You know what I mean? Because when you think of something like a movie you watched when you were like 3 years old or 4 years old, and I remember being there, I remember the room, I remember my parents, I remember my aunt and uncle, my influences pushing these things or influencing me, to see these awesome movies. That's how I remember, what was happening. So it's a very interesting thing. And what other movies were there earlier before this? Jurassic Park was a huge one for me that I saw at the movie theater. I actually saw that one at Ontario Place with my father. That was huge. It freaking blew me away, as it did, the entire world, that movie. What else? Let's see. I'm sure these will come back to me, as I, look at, because, guess what, guys? The next one's The Lost World. So it's Jurassic Park, kind of segued right into there. But now, it is a Cineplexodium ticket. These were also built into malls. So Famous Players and Cineplex, I always thought in my head Cineplex was smaller. Or equal at that time. This is like 97, okay? May 1997. May 25th, 1997 is the ticket. And this, I saw, I don't know if I can see, this is at Woodbine Center. So, That mall still exists, and I don't know if they have a cinema. I think they do, but again, it's still built into the mall, same kind of thing. And that movie I saw with my, this is not rare, but it was rarer. The Lost World I saw with my aunt, my uncle, my aunt Joanne, my uncle Lou, my mother, and my sister. We were all, my dad was out of town. We saw this movie because it's Jurassic Park 2. It's The Lost World. We had to. You know what I mean? It was a matinee, 3:30 p.m., the Woodbine Center Mall. And, actually, oh, I'm just remembering. Guys, I'm remembering. In 96, because I'm trying to remember, like, Arnold flicks as well, right? So, guys, in between here, or in 96, it would have to be, I saw Jerry Maguire, because I just remembered, okay, with The Lost World, I'm going to show you the memory worm. And now I'm thinking back to 1996. Tickets that are missing. I saw Eraser with my Uncle Lou. I saw Jerry Maguire with my aunt, my Uncle Lou, my mother, and my sister. That was a later one. But again, in 1996, I don't have the tickets, but I remember. Just because I remembered who I went with to The Lost World, I remember these other movies that were so important to me. I loved Jerry Maguire. So different for me at 10 years old, right? But it blew me away. That movie is so amazing, and it's in my collection to this day. Eraser, that's one of my favorite Arnold movies of all time. And now, come to think of it, that is my first Arnold movie at the theater. If I got that right. Let me just do some memory work. Yeah, because I was watching T2 for years, and some other movies of his, obviously, and that one, True Lies, I didn't see at the theater. Last Action Hero, I was at Jurassic Park, and I didn't see that at the theater. I saw that on video, and I didn't really enjoy it. Now it's literally one of my top 10 favorites of him. I think it's one of the most unique movies I've ever seen, not just because Arnold's in it. Anyway, okay, back to this. Lost World again. I saw Lost World twice, and I believe that was the first movie I ever saw twice. May have been Jurassic Park 1, actually. I think. But don't quote me on that. Anyway, The Lost World, here they are, 2 tickets. This one was at Famous Players. Now, here in 97, we start seeing a little bit of a paradigm shift, because this is now the Coliseum 10. This is where the theaters, Famous Players, broke out of the mall, and they have a building to themselves now, usually near a mall or near a shopping center of some sorts, to get, obviously, the shoppers, after they're done shopping. But yes, this is at the Coliseum 10 in Mississauga. This was on Rathburn Road, and this was June 8th, 1997. I went with my buddy Matthew up the road, and my father, who didn't come with me the first time. So I just had to. And my father, he's not really a fan of repeat viewings. He's like, you already seen it. I'm like, Dad, you're going to love this movie, and I just love that movie. So I just need to see it again. Now, talking about The Lost World, the popular opinion is that it's a bit ridiculous, especially with the ending, that I'm not going to spoil, or whatever. T-Rex goes to the city. Anyway, which is, spoiler alert, probably where Jurassic World Dominion, the next sequel coming out, probably where that's going to go, which is the irony here. But The Lost World, there's always a special place in my heart with the first Jurassic Park, okay? I almost think of them as separate things. It's very, and sequels to me, I don't know, I have a very special place in my heart for sequels. I love more. When I see the first one, I just want more of it, and then they adhere to the rules perfectly. You have Jeff Goldblum back, you've got Julianne Moore, great actors, you've got Vince Vaughn in there, and you've got Steven Spielberg. You know what I mean? You have the man back in the chair, and they adhered to all the rules. It was faster, more action, more dinosaurs, More Rexes, more Raptors. I loved those two. They gave us tons more. More great effects. More violence. It was funnier, even. Like, it had more humor. Jeff Goldblum was off the chain in that. And then he played off of Vince Vaughn as well, who was great with comical quips and one-liners and stuff like that. So, I mean, absolutely wonderful film. Whoa. Hey, come back now. Oh, sorry, guys. Studio's falling apart a little bit. Anyway, yeah, wonderful sequel, and yeah, it's one of my all-time favorite films. But yes, guys, I want you to think about this. Really, Jurassic Park, Dominion, which is coming out. I'm assuming this whole thing might delay it, but I said it from day one. Okay, what happened in the Lost World with one dinosaur, with the T-Rex going back to the city and all that? This is definitely where they're going, because now the dinosaurs are free, right, from Fallen Kingdom, which I loved. I love that way more than Jurassic World, the remake thing that they did in 2015. Fallen Kingdom, blew me away. Like, I loved it. It's more of a, they did it in very different, but I think that's required when you don't have the original director, you don't have the original parts, and where they went was more of like a Universal Monsters kind of vibe, especially with the score, which I purchased. I purchased that soundtrack of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. God bless. I love that director, I love that score, and even the actors that I didn't care for so much in Jurassic World, they stepped up to the plate and they did it very well. Anyway, so from there, all the dinosaurs are kind of loose, and obviously that's where it's going to go. So, just on a global scale. Anyway, so yeah. Let's see what's next in the series here. An Arnold movie at the theater. But it's not really, it's a more ensemble kind of movie. And, overlaps again. Actually, no, oh, God, guys. Okay, the ticket is Batman and Robin. Freeze in hell, Batman. Gotham is your icy grave. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age! Amazing. Amazing. I love that film. I still love it to this day. Maybe I'm biased. I just love how bright it is. I love how freaking it's fast. It's almost got a cartoony kind of light vibe. It reminded me of the Adam West kind of show that way, where it's like, you know, it's just a little... I'm not going to say weird, it's just different from the first two with the Tim Burton vibe. Now, I'm going to go backwards again. Batman Forever. I saw that movie with my dad, guys. I saw it at Square One, again, in the mall. Actually, hold on, no, I saw Batman Forever at Yorkdale with my father. That starred Val Kilmer as Batman. It starred Chris O'Donnell as Robin, / Dick Grayson, Nicole Kidman, Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, and Jim Carrey as the Riddler. And that one, it blew me away. Like, I wasn't too happy with the second one. Not that I wasn't happy with it, but it was a little dark and a little... Just the feeling wasn't the same as the first one with the Joker, with Jack Nicholson in there. Anyway, so Batman Forever came along. It was a different vibe, more cartoony, just lighter, more colorful, more out there, more humor, and it was very different from the first two, and I loved it. Fast forward a couple years, that was in 95. Back to Batman and Robin. So yeah, loved Batman Forever. I walked into this at the time. It's kind of gone a little up and down for me, part 4. But at the time, for me as a kid, and then you're putting my all-time favorite, like my idol, my favorite actor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, at the top bill as Mr. Freeze. P.S. guys, Patrick Stewart, real P.S. Patrick Stewart, money! Patrick Stewart was supposed to be Mr. Freeze. And picture that in that kind of movie, though, in that colorful, light, bubbly Batman and Robin movie. It doesn't make sense with Patrick Stewart in it. Anyway, so the man dropped out. I don't know why. He was the original name I heard. Not off the internet, just off of like E.T., like Entertainment Tonight and all that stuff that we used to have back in the 90s. And, well, they still exist now. Anyway, So Schwarzenegger was at the top of the bill. Yeah, they changed Batman. I loved Val Kilmer. Don't know why he didn't come back. They changed him to George Clooney. Robin was the same. Chris O'Donnell was back. They got Uma Thurman in there as Poison Ivy. God bless her. She's gorgeous, gorgeous to this day. She is just a sexy lady. She is just charming. She is just hot. Anyway, so and then we have Bane in there. Kind of a side thing, more of a sidekick, but he was pretty cool. That actor passed away actually, so rest in peace there. But yeah, so they had 3 villains this time and 3 heroes, because now they had Alicia Silverstone's Batgirl in there. So more. Like I just said about sequels, I loved sequels from when I was a boy. So the fact that when I was a kid and I was 11 years old, and after Batman Forever, which hit me like a ton of bricks, and I was like, oh my god, look at the suit difference, look at the 2 different suits now. Oh, Robin's here. Oh my god, now there's 2 villains that I love, even though there was 2 villains in the last one. And then this one has 3 and 3. I'm like, and Arnold's in it, and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. It blew me the hell away. Blew me the fuck away. Okay, with even the CGI, it was more of a, because, Mr. Freeze is more of a sci-fi bad guy, because, the cool effects and the freezing gun and all that stuff. He's not a bad guy like Two-Face, who is more psychological, and the Joker, more psychological, right? Yes, he blows things up, but he doesn't have like this weird gun that freezes things, or is not like a Clayface. I've always wanted to see Clayface in a movie. That's more of a science fiction type bad guy, a guy who is almost like a Carnage. If you guys know, you're more familiar with Marvel stuff. Anyway, so yeah, the CGI, just the effects, the makeup, just everything just blew me away. Now, I didn't care for the prototype suits with the silver pieces and all that at the end. Those I was like, meh. But at the end of it all, again, I just loved how much more it was. It was a bigger scale. We were talking about satellites and space and freezing Gotham and all this stuff. Freezing Gotham, And I was just like, oh, I love this. Now, as I grew, I was like, all right, this is a little too much. I can see what people are saying, blah, blah, blah. But I've looped around, guys. I'm 33 years old now, and I love the movie still. It might be a little bit of a bias, but again, I love Batman, okay? I love all those actors. I am an actor-driven kind of guy, so I mean, if the story's a little lacking, but you have great actors, I kind of turn a blind eye, as Eric always says. I'm not too much of a story kind of guy. If you have brooding intensity, or if you have some comedic charm, or if you can command the screen and just roll with it, I'll watch an actor that is entertaining to me, rather than searching around for a complex story. You know what I mean? I'm more about the people on screen. But anyway, to each his own. Guys, Batman and Robin, $4.25 for a child ticket. Wow. July 3rd, 1997. Wow, this is the July long weekend. Pretty cool. What a great movie. It was a Thursday, July 3rd. It's amazing. Nice. At Yorkdale, Batman and Robin. I think we're going to go on to the next one. So yeah, let's see what's next. Again, might be missing some stuff in between, but let's see. Next one. We're back at Cineplex Odeon now, guys. Spawn. Now this is this can relate. This is August 4th, 1997. I saw it at the Woodbine Mall. I saw the toys. I saw McFarlane's toys at the toy store, because I was a huge toy collector. So, Spawn. Okay? There is not a remake, but a reboot, or another Spawn movie in the works by the man, Todd McFarlane. Apparently he's got the whole thing. He's at the helm. He's writing, directing, everything. Jamie Foxx is attached to play Spawn. And yeah, so it's hugely still relevant. But yes, I saw the first Spawn film, starring Michael J. White as Spawn. And I didn't know too much about Spawn, but I had, I think, a couple of toys. My neighbor, again, from before, Alessandro, he bought me, I think, a toy or two. Started getting me into those McFarlane toys, and it was brand new at the time. They were more adult oriented and cool, and I was already into adult oriented movies, so I'm like, these toys were kind of like, I was always kind of desiring more detailed toys. So McFarlane definitely was getting that bone going in me, and I'm like, whoa, look at this detail, right? Look at this, the kind of caliber of a toy I could have, that I could own. Anyway, so I saw Spawn, I saw the trailers, I saw the movie review in the Toronto Star, and I'm like, Dad, let's go. Now, I can't, some of these, the ink has, I think the butter in the popcorn has made the ink kind of like disappear over time, fortunately, so I literally had to put it in marker here because I can't even see anything. The other ones, at least I could see a little bit, but this one I can't see nothing. It's just a piece of paper with Cineplex Odeon Cinemas on it. So, but I have the date and I have the name of the movie. So, I wouldn't say I loved it. I thought it was, obviously some parts were very, very cool. I loved Spawn, the character. The movie itself just carried out kind of weird. But nonetheless, I collected a couple of the movie figures as well. Yeah, there's some of my favorites. Again, the McFarlane thing was more than just Spawn. It was like a new era of collecting of toys for me. So that's what made me think about that. The movie with its visual effects were very, very cool. Some of the stuff was a little wonky because they were trying to push it maybe a little too far, or they just didn't have the time or the money to do some of the stuff, so it looks a little wonky, especially watching it today. But it was enjoyable. John Leguizamo was badass in that as the Violator. It's just, yeah, a lot of cool parts and stuff like that. I remember the ending being a little abrupt for me, even as a kid, as an 11-year-old guy. So anyway, yeah, good times. Me and my father, we saw that one, and yeah, good stuff. Oh boy, guys. And then I'm like, oh my god, my throat! I'm gonna cry! If you don't know what's happening, Titanic, guys. We're at Titanic. I only saw this once in theaters. I saw it with my Uncle Lou, and then we got together with my mom, my sister, and my aunt for some Chinese food afterwards down the street. I remember that day perfectly. And yeah, so I saw it at North York Sheridan, Downsview, Ontario. Guys, this was $2 for a child on a Friday night at 8 p.m. You believe that? $2. My lord. So yeah, May 8th, 1998, I watched Titanic with my Uncle Lou, and I loved it. I was always, I don't know, James Cameron, he's my favorite director, if I haven't said it yet. Now, this was the first Cameron flick I saw at the theaters, which I haven't realized till now. So that's pretty fascinating to me. Do I watch it all the time? I would say no, but if it's on, I leave it on. It's that kind of thing. It's obviously 3 hours long, but it doesn't really feel like 3 hours. I love Leonardo DiCaprio, I love Kate Winslet, I love Billy Zane, all the actors, even the character actors in it. I think it's just a perfectly well put together movie. I just love the way James Cameron tells a story, the actors he chooses, the everything he does. He literally almost does. I mean, he has a team. He always has a team, but it's just he pushes people to the limit, to greatness. You know what I mean? He's a fabulous, wonderful, wonderful director, and writer and storyteller. And I always know when Cameron's there. You know what I mean? If he writes something, or if he shoots something, or if he's just got a style that resonates with me and a lot of other people. But he's my favorite director, hands down. Again, not only because of the Terminator, and it overlaps again with Arnold, Canadian by the way. James Cameron is as a director. He's a Canadian director. But this movie was very emotional. I think that song as well by Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On, like it ruins me. That's why I started this off with the flute thing every time, and I'm like, you know, bump in my throat. It's like, go down, you know, especially because I'm a man. Yeah, and there's, who is it? Mary out there. She's like, she was making fun of me. Mary was making fun of me for crying at Titanic. And I'm like, those two aren't only each other. And she's like, Jack, come back. Jack. I'm like, man, this sucks. Those two aren't only each other. You know? Anyway. So yeah, Titanic, my godbrother Derek, he saw the thing like 5-6 times. He was obsessed with the movie, but he was always obsessed with Titanic in general. So I don't think it was the movie that got him going, but the movie, he kept going. He literally went 1,000,000 times. Again, I also remember that. So, yeah, it was a worldwide phenomenon. It was the #1 movie of all time for many, many years until James Cameron said, hey, 1997 me, I'm fighting you, and came along with Avatar in 2009 and destroyed himself in a competition with himself. So Avatar was then #1 for many, many years. Anyway, we'll talk about that when we get there. And as everybody knows now, by like 700 million, which is nothing in my books anyway, and in most people's books, 700 million, because you have a Marvel name, it beats, Avengers Endgame beats Avatar, an original work. Anyway, that's besides the point. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. I don't know if I'm going to break these up into ones or just go page by page. We'll see. I'm going to tell you stories. I'm going to tell you what it means to me. I'm going to just go nice and thick for you guys so we can spend time together and stay smiling. I know it's a little all over the place, but I will put labels on what we're talking about and stuff like that. And like, if you have any suggestions, type it up in the comments below. Thank you for all your subscriptions. Thank you for your support. Stay hard. Go hard! Oh, it's Eric. Hello?
Hey.
Hey.
What's up, man?
You know what you should tell him? Tell him to do the subscribe, comment garbage.
Guys, follow us.
Yep.
Subscribe to us.
Right.
Hit the red button.
Right.
Just right there.
Hard.
It's right there. Press it goddamn hard.
Couch hard!